This hike follows the Rio Cuale, or River Cuale, where you walk along cobblestone streets, mountain trails, and dirt roads. There are several places to stop for drinks and lunch along the way. The highlight of this adventure is the River Cuale Falls at the end, with the large swimming area where you can relax and cool off after the hike. The Rio Cuale is the river that you see in Old Town or Centro, Puerto Vallarta. You can start the hike there, but then you would have to walk approximately 10 to 11 kilometers from the Los Muertos Pier, or about 8 kilometers from the outskirts of the city. But you can shorten that distance to about 5.2 kilometers or 3.25 miles each way by taking the C04 bus to Paso Ancho and then walking from there. The bus runs approximately every 20 minutes, and you can pick it up in a number of different locations. Just check your Google app or the Move It app for times and locations. But the main roads it travels along are Colombia, Juarez, and Francisco Madera. The bus ride should take you about 20 minutes, 30 at most, to get to the outskirts of Paso Ancho and the colonial of Paso de la Guayabo. The streets are all cobblestone and a little bit bumpy, so if you don't get a seat, I advise you to hang on so you don't get tossed around. And you'll be taking this bus right to the very end. You'll be pulling into a little side street, and the bus driver will most likely tell you that this is your stop. But once it stops, you know you need to get out, and you'll proceed a little bit east up the road. The entire bus ride will be along the Cuale River. You'll have great views of that, and you're going to pass through several different villages in a couple of different colonials, including Paso de la Guayabo as well as Paso Ancho. The Cuale River, or Rio Cuale, is not very rapid flowing water, at least when we're outside the rainy season. We were taking this trip in mid-December, and you can see that the water level is not very deep, but the locals really like it because it's fresh water, and there's a number of locations where it actually forms in the pool, so it's a great place to swim, and you often find families together on the weekends when they're not at work, flocking to this location, or to various locations along this road and into the Cuale River. So at the end of the trip, the bus will pull into a little side alcove here, and when they do that, it's time for you to get off, and then you're going to proceed on down the road. And at this point, you're going to be walking on cobblestone streets through some small little villages, and you'll be right beside the Cuale River. It's actually quite pleasant. There is some traffic here, so be careful. There is no sidewalks, and probably the most traffic you're going to see is some of the tour excursions. They can be 4x4s or razors, and even some motocross bikes will come by, and some cyclists. The Canopy River Resort is just up the road here. It's very popular. That's where you can go zip lining or cross the Jorello Bridge and do some hiking in various locations. They also have a great brunch on the weekends, and you can grab lunch there as well. Just go to the Canopy River site if you're interested in that, and they have a tour bus that will take you right to their location. Now, this particular walk will take us probably within a half a kilometer of the Canopy River before we turn off. So the total distance on this hike to the falls is 5.2 kilometers, which is equivalent to 3.25 miles. For the first 1.5 kilometers to 2 kilometers of this hike, we'll be walking along these cobblestone streets. And when we come across a road bridge which crosses the Cuale River, that's your signal to go to the right along a dirt road. You'll follow that dirt road to the very end and then walk across the river, not once but twice, until you find a path that will take you up into the mountains, and you'll be walking through a mountain trail for about 1 kilometer until you reach a dirt road, and you'll follow along that dirt road for 2 kilometers, which will take you to another bridge, and you'll pass along a stairway below the bridge, and that will take you to the falls.
Hola amigos.
Una casualidad.
So we just passed this group of musicians. They were heading to a family get-together or party along the Cuale River. As I said, the Cuale River, being fresh water, is a great meeting place. A lot of people like to come here, especially as families, to swim in the river and just cool off and relax. And these musicians were going to entertain them. So this is a city bus. They must have rented it, and this is the family, and they're just below this little suspension bridge where they've set up the band, and you can see what a beautiful spot it is. Yep. I got a feeling that bus is just a special occasion bus. I think so. Last year this road was a little bit rougher, but they've repaved it, or I should say relaid the cobblestones, and now it's in great shape and very easy to walk along. There's lots of different excursions you can take from Puerto Vallarta, and one of those is to rent a 4x4, and you go out as groups, and this is a very popular route for the tour guides to take you on. After you get outside some of the villages, you'll find just a few houses along the river, like this one here. I really enjoy it. It's very architecturally interesting. It looks like it's somebody's vacation home because it doesn't seem to be overly used. At least there was nobody there today. But the sidewall panels are just beautiful. The guy had a really good flair for for architecture and design. So we are approaching our turnoff point here, where we'll take a dirt path. Again, you're following along the Cuale River. That's really all you need to do or remember. But here's a turnoff to the right, and there's several ranches you can go to, and one is Los Abuelos. It's a place that has ponds and dining and so forth. I haven't been there, but a few friends have, and they highly recommended it. And the most whimsical house of everything. Look at the big owl on top of the gate.
You can do it with your eyes closed.
So the secret to this hike is always follow the river, and you will never get lost. So we're going right here, gentlemen. We went straight ahead. You go to the Canopy River, where they have the big Jarello Bridge, and you also have a nice dining place, a swimming pool. Yeah, pretty cool. So we're still following along the Cuale River, or Rio Cuale, and we've left the cobblestone street, so we're going to go down this dirt road for about half a kilometer, right to its very end, at which point we have to cross the river, take a short path, maybe 200 or 300 meters, cross the river again, and then we're going to start our trek up into the mountains and around a certain section of the river here. how they have all these signs saying don't leave your garbage here.
Some people come up and dump them.
Yeah, obviously it's been a problem in the past, so.
How many kilometers is this up?
I believe. So at this point where you got off the bus, you've traveled approximately 1.5 kilometers or 1 mile. We'll travel along this dirt road and path into the bottom of the hill. And that's probably about 1/2 kilometer. And then we've got just a little over 1 kilometer to reach the top of the mountain or hill. And from there, another 2 kilometers to the waterfalls. So it's like the hike to Los Animas, right?
Yeah.
Except for we got to catch a different bus.
Now we have to walk back.
Yes.
No water taxi here.
No water taxi.
That was cheap. I thought that water taxi was inexpensive.
No, it's always been, it used to be cheaper than that, and the restaurants used to give it to you for free if you ate there 3 years ago. Hola. Having fun with the dogs. Bueno. It's like a Maverick. No, it's a Nissan or something.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think I've. Yeah.
A bunch of people get together at Christmas time in the condo?
Yeah. Well, not Christmas, New Year's.
New Year's, okay.
We have we have the last 3 years a get together on the deck. Everybody brings a dish. Potluck, I guess you call it. There's a nice little swimming hole on the left here, and a lot of people use it. Today there was somebody who actually set up a tent, and what was even really interesting is the people or the owners of the house on the right-hand side that we're going to come across here shortly actually have set up a small little restaurant in tienda. So we didn't stop there today, but it's definitely an option if you want to take a break on the hike. You're about halfway to your destination, so it would probably be a good place to stop and probably grab a swim. Anyways, the little swimming hole in this little restaurant will be on the left in just a moment. What a beautiful spot here is, eh?
Yeah, nice spot.
Oh, there's a place to use bathrooms, 10 pesos. Well, that's new. Entrepreneurs, you gotta like it. Well, this is where we're gonna be crossing the stream.
Really?
Yep, just at the bottom here. This is where the road ends. I would rate this hike as a medium difficulty hike, and only that because it's a little long. It's like 3.25 miles or 5.2 kilometers. And you have to cross the River Cuale twice, and for that reason I recommend you bring walking sandals or running shoes that you don't mind getting wet. The water was a little bit fast moving here, not overly difficult, and it only came up to about my knees at most where we're going to cross. So this is, if you're unsteady on your feet, could be a little bit of a challenge, but I think the biggest challenge is when we go through up the hill or the mountain here to pass a little section. Again, I don't think that's overly difficult. It's just that there's some loose shale, so if you can slide a little bit as you go up or as when you return, but not difficult, but it is a kilometer climb up to the top of the hill, which some people might find a little bit challenging, but if you're in reasonable shape and you just take breaks, it's really not difficult at all. It's definitely not slippery, and the water is just the perfect temperature right now. For me it is anyways. Just gonna take it slow. Lots of sand between the rocks too, which is nice.
So far, it's just below my knees. A little bit of a current, but it's not pushing hard. A big rock here. Gonna hold on for a minute. Come around. Almost across. There we go. And here you'll find a lot of footprints where people have walked, almost like a path through the rocks. But it's only a short distance, and then we cross the river back to the other side again, and then we start going through up the mountain, I guess. And when I say a mountain, really a steep hill. It's a very easy path to do. Not a lot of rocks to go around. I think it's mostly sand. You can see the path is pretty well defined here. Lots of people have come through. I've seen horses come through here as well. It's very nice. As I said, this whole path is essentially one where you won't get lost because you're following the river all the way until we do the second crossing. And then technically you're still following the river. We're just going over a section of the hill where you can't walk up the river. Look at the size of this vine and how it's wrapped around this tree.
Wow.
It's like a big snake on it.
Amazing how much cooler it is in the shade.
Oh, it's very cool. And no bugs so far. Here's the only tricky part, and that's spotting the trail on the other side. but there was a sign back there basically pointing us in exactly this direction. And there it is. You can actually see the sand where people have come out of the water, and the horses go across here as well. Lots of fish in the water, I see, lots of minnows. This is a lot easier to cross than the last section. All you do is very small stones, only up to my calves, and hardly any current. There's the path right there. It's easy to spot this because of the sandbar here and all the sand and footprints. Yeah, but so much nicer. Water temperature is fantastic. It's good. It won't be so cold when we jump in at the end. Come on, little brother.
Follow the...
Nope, we're going up this way. Up and over. And if anybody knows an alternate route, like can you actually walk up the river, I would appreciate that knowledge. But I've only been shown and gone on this particular path to get to the first falls on the Cuale River.
So at this point, we've left the river and now we're going to climb over the mountain. You are still going by the Rio Cuale, but I guess it's too difficult to walk up the river to the falls, so we're going to go around it. That means we have to climb to the top of the mountain here. It's about 1 kilometer to climb to the top. Your first thing is to get onto the path and hang a left and then go up. Now, I don't find the path overly difficult, although it is about 1 kilometer or 0.6 miles to get to the top. It's a switchback, so it's not overly steep because you keep on cutting back onto yourself. The only challenge I would say is because they're running a lot of motocross bikes and so forth here, some shale has been broken up, so there's a few places where you might slide a little bit, but it's not difficult, it's not steep, just take your time and you'll get there. And as I said, it's only about 1 kilometer until you reach the top, and then a little short distance beyond that until you reach the dirt road that'll take you directly to the falls.
Are we there yet? So this is the steepest section of the climb, and I don't find it overly steep. The motocross bikes obviously have fun with it. So this is about the steepest section of the hike, and the path here is a little chewed up due to the motocross bikes. This is an interesting rock formation here, but somebody's cut some steps in to get around it, so it's quite doable. Just a nice piece to go through here, and pretty soon we'll be leveling out a little bit, and anytime there's a steeper section, there's a lot of switchback trails, so it really is not that difficult to get to the top, but just take your time. You can probably tell that
from the video that I'm breathing a little bit hard. It's a little bit difficult sometimes to start climbing and be talking all the time while you're doing that and filming, so a little tuckered out from doing that. But again, I think this is a nice change of pace. You've walked the cobblestone roads, you've crossed the river twice. Now you're a little bit of a jungle or a mountain trail section, and pretty soon you'll be on a dirt road with some fantastic views of the valley. Actually, at one point you can see all the way back to Puerto Vallarta, about 11 kilometers away. In the mountain trail section here, you can hear a lot of birds, and I have seen a variety of different animals, including coates. I saw that last year, so that's always fun to see when you come across those. Never seen any snakes, never seen any scorpions or anything like that. I would imagine they are around, so just watch your hands if you're going to put them down. But like I said, I've been doing trails around Puerto Vallarta for the last 8 years. I think I've seen a snake just on 2 occasions, and that was at Palo Maria, non-venomous. I'm not sure what they were, but nothing scary at all. But definitely a lot of different birds and other different wild animals here. And you will also, every once in a while, see some cows. So you can see that there's a gate here. It's just tied off. And the farmer here is trying to keep his cows controlled. They're sometimes grazing through the woods here. So you just got to untie the gate and make sure you tie it back up when you leave. And it's only a simple string, so no big deal to get past it. Just make sure we close it back up.
In the bush.
Make sure somebody ties that back up.
Yeah. Just give that a quick tie up.
Yeah, you gotta tie it up. Just loosely. One hitch. That's all we found on it.
Just like around.
Yeah, that was it. That's all there was. Perfect.
The trail is incredibly well marked out here. You won't get lost. There's no side trails whatsoever. You just got to keep on following it until you get to the top, and then there's just a short little run where you'll come out at the road. If you go left on the road, it'll take you to the Canopy River and right to the Jorillo Bridge, which I believe it might be the longest suspension bridge for pedestrians to go across. A lot of people go to the Canopy River just to walk across it. The price can be a little bit prohibited unless you buy lunch there. I think if you buy lunch or you come for their brunch on the weekends, it might be free to go across it. And what they've done just recently is that they have a bar, sort of restaurant on this side of the gorge. So if you're looking to have a break and grab something to drink before you press onto the falls, you can always stop there and grab something. So I'm going to cut a little bit of the video here because you don't need to see us trek all the way up to the top here. The path is well defined. You won't get lost. There is no turnoffs until we get to the road. So I'll cut a big section of the video out here. As I said, this whole sort of mountain trail is only about a kilometer, maybe a kilometer and a half at most, which would be less than a mile. So once we get to the top of the hill, there'll be a road, and that's what I'm going to show you next. So if you'll come out to this dirt road, if you hang a left, that will take you to the Canopy River. It's about 300 meters and you'll come to a bar, but you'll be able to see the Jorillo Bridge, which walks you over to where they serve lunch and so forth. But there's a bar on this side. I think you can get something to eat. There's also some washrooms down there as well. But today we're not going to stop there. Maybe on the way back we'll show a small little section where you can actually see it so you have an idea. But we're going to continue forward on this dirt road. Now there is a turnoff to the right here, but what you want to do is bear left. And as I said, you want to follow the Cuale River. As long as you do that, you will never get lost. So this next section of the hike is approximately 2 kilometers or 1.25 miles, and that takes you right to the falls. There's no further turnoffs, and I don't believe there's any other roads, so it's really impossible to get lost at this point.
This is where you don't really want to run into the 4x4s because then you're going to get a shower of dust. Yeah, water tanks. Well, what do you think so far, gentlemen?
It's not good.
Different.
That was really impressive to see Puerto Vallarta from
the top of
the hill and look up and see the mountain that we see all the time from there. And just look at the
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, you look at those radio or TV towers and you're above those, so you know how high we've climbed.
Look up the mirror.
Yeah.
We're above it.
I love these things. Like, so huge. I don't know what kind of palm it is though, but it's just so tall. I saw a coati on this road last year.
What?
A coati. They look like a raccoon, but they have like a, yeah, the long tail, sort of pointy nose. Oh, nice bird there. Oh, really colorful, that one.
Where is it?
It's in the tree there. Right there. Yeah. Oh, there he goes. Almost got a good picture of him. He's got a long tail.
They'll do that.
Not as long as that one.
Look at those trees. See the trees here? How spiky they are?
I forget what that's called.
You do not want to grab them, that's for sure.
So at this point, I'm just going to show you different sections of the road until we get to the falls so you can appreciate it. And then I'm going to stop at one particular spot and I'll show you a cave where there's actually a lot of bats.
These little guardrails they put up look like they need a little bit of work.
A little bit of leaven.
If I remember correctly, you get a good look down the valley here in a moment. There's our tourist tree, red and peeling.
That's Robert. I got a new name.
So at this point, you can look all the way back through this valley and see Puerto Vallarta and the ocean.
You can see
it's at least, I would say, about 11 kilometers to get back to Puerto Vallarta from this point, at least the section of the bay that we're looking at right now. So you are fairly high in the mountains, well above the Mirador, if you know what that is. But if you don't, it's a lookout right in the center of town. Well, you're above that height if you've ever been up that high. But we are now descending along this road back to the water level. Obviously still quite above sea level. But we are definitely, as you walk along this dirt road, going downhill.
Yeah. That would suck. Well, you were with us when Martine broke her wrist, eh?
Yeah.
Such an innocent fall.
But she didn't use it.
I believe this is the Bat Cave here. We'll see if there's any bats in here today. You got your light, Mark? You got your light? Yep, there they are, hanging right there. There's a bat for you. That is so cool, hanging upside down. There they go. Darting around. He was just hanging from the ceiling there. Yeah, they're hanging in the back there. See them all? That is so cool.
There's the butterflies.
Just hanging on the rocks. And there's lots of them, aren't there? Well, that's a fun experience, stopping beside the road and seeing all these bats in this little cave here. And now we're just going to continue on a short distance. At this point, you can actually hear the rapids in the River Cuale, so we know we are quite close to the waterfalls. A little slippery here. But why is it so wet up here? Oh, because trucks going through that puddle there. What's that?
The elephant ears.
Oh, yeah. Amazing, a little stream going right across the road. So there's a large lookout platform right up there. I think that's part of the Canopy River system. I think they just built that. And you get to it by a suspension bridge. We got the other suspension bridge right there. Here is one of the Canopy River bridges. And right below it is the River Cuale. I believe it's the first waterfalls. And to get to it, we just follow the path. But we'll check to see if the gate is open. It doesn't look like it. And there's the bridge. So here we go. Staircase all the way down to the water. Underneath the bridge. On many occasions that gate is open or there's just a loose lock on it, and very often you're going to find the guides around anyways, and if you ask them nicely they'll let you go across so you can take some pictures, and it's a great view up there of the waterfalls as well as the stream, the River Cuale. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend it. They've done a good job of this path, eh? Yeah.
On this one.
Well, they bring a lot of tourists down here.
Yeah.
Not too bad for twists and turns. You see how green the water is already. What a beautiful spot. So this waterfalls is very popular with tourists, and the Canopy River has a lot of guided tours, either with their ATVs or razors, horseback, and they'll bring people here. So there's generally a guide around. There's generally always people here, especially on the weekends on a hot day. A lot of people just want to come out and swim and jump off the rock, which we'll show you shortly. Health. We are not responsible for lost items. Children must be supervised by an adult at all times. So. Hola, amigos. You jump off the rock?
No, I just went swimming right in here.
Oh yeah? I jumped off it last year.
Way too cold today.
Nah, I hope not.
Try it.
Canada. I'm from Canada. Well, doesn't this just make the hike worthwhile, doesn't it? So I'll give you a little tour of the falls and the basin here where you can swim. You can see there's quite a bit of current in the water, but it's nothing that you can't manage. Jumping off the rock, you just will get pulled. You might get pulled a little bit with some undertow, but the water levels actually aren't that high, and it's fairly easy to swim over to the ladder which they have on the rock straight out here. Climb up there, and there's a couple of different spots you can jump off, and I would say the depth is anywhere from about 8 to 12 feet, depending on where you go in. So I have not hit the bottom, although I don't try to jump off and go deep. I normally jump. I've seen a few people dive, but they're doing fairly shallow dives. But I think you're pretty safe, especially if you go off the corner. Beautiful piece or area here. Unfortunately, the sun is in the wrong spot, so it's hard to get a good picture of it or part of this video. So we're going to go across the stream here, or the river, and go to the other side, and hopefully I can block out part of the sun so you get a really good look at this falls. Right underneath the suspension bridge.
So I've never been beyond this point, but I've been told there are actually more falls beyond here. Maybe one day, but not today. So our next order of business is to get in the water and cool off after our hike and jump off this rock. And then we'll head on back to Puerto Vallarta. First, I think we'll stop at the Jarillo Bridge so you guys have an idea of where you can stop and get something to drink.
I'm gonna wait till these guys jump, Mark. I'm gonna wait till these guys jump.
I always wear my shoes when I swim over to the ladder. I find it's a little hard on my feet, and also the rocks here don't want to slip. I got more traction in running shoes. And then when you jump off, it's not a big deal to walk across the rocks and get in and out of the water as well.
So now that we've jumped off the rock and had a swim, we're all refreshed, and that concludes our hike other than getting back to Puerto Vallarta. So that completes our 3¼ mile or 5.2 kilometer hike. But before we leave, I'm going to give you one last little bit. On the way back, we'll go to the Jarillo suspension bridge, and there's a bar there, and I'll just show you how to do that. So as you remember, when we came up, you got to the dirt road after the mountain trail. There's a gate there. You just go through it, and you just need to walk about 300 yards, 300 meters, and that will bring you to some washrooms first on your right-hand side, and then straight ahead you'll see a bar, and it's overlooking the valley, and you can see the Jarillo suspension bridge, which I believe is one of the largest suspension bridge for pedestrians in the world. Now, we asked if we could cross it. They wouldn't allow it unless we paid their standard fee, which is if you don't eat at their restaurant, it's something on the order of 270 pesos, and I believe that's close to about 13 US dollars or about 20 Canadian. But I've also been told that since you're on this side of the river, you can just, if you don't ask, you just walk across the bridge itself. But obviously I didn't want to do that. I don't like taking advantage of those things. So one day I'll probably do it, pay the fees, and see everything. But right now, in this short distance, 300 meters, 300 yards, you'll walk through a little bit of a pond, which is basically something they've artificially created, which allows the razors and the 4x4s to get a little bit wet before they hit the bar, and then you'll see the suspension bridge to your left. And then since you're on the other side of the Cuale River now, you can just walk right from the Canopy River Resort down the road, and that'll take you back to that bridge, that traffic bridge or car bridge that we saw earlier where we turned off onto the dirt road. And then you just need to walk about 1.5 kilometers back to Paso Ancho, where you can pick up the bus again. And again, the buses come about every 20 minutes, and that'll take you back to Puerto Vallarta. And the bus cost is only 10 pesos, or about 50 cents US or 70 cents Canadian. Here comes a quad. There's the bridge. And you just see it. Very close. Restrooms, good to know. Yeah. Let's go up here and we'll ask about the bridge. Hola. So if you want to go over the bridge officially, you pay the lady at the bar here, and like I said, it was 270 pesos, which I tried to negotiate down, but she wasn't going for it. That's their standard rate, but I tried to explain we're only going one way, but I was not successful. I was hoping to meet her supervisor so we could discuss it, but unfortunately not. Anyways, we had the opportunity to get something to drink here, and we had a good look at the bridge, and you can see how large it is. It's actually very, very big, and on the other side you can see the palapas where they actually have their dining hall. Like I said, it's very good for brunch on the weekends. It's good for lunch. They have zip lining in the valley. They do a lot of horseback riding, ATV tours, and so forth. So a really good place to hang out for a day, and Canopy River does have tours that'll take you right here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe.
Also on our way back, and just outside of the section called Paso Ancho, I think this is actually the beginning of Paso de los Guayabos. It's hard to say that. This is a restaurant called Moro Pariso. It's a great restaurant, and we stopped in here for drinks and lunch. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please like and subscribe.
By the water.